take two on this sunrise drive with mayonnaise chase. I recorded about 15 minutes earlier, testing out my new microphone, and it didn't pick up anything. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out how it works. It went to my other Bluetooth headset, which it's off now. So this one should be picking up everything. And hopefully not the background noise, because the whole point of me buying this thing is it's supposed to be eliminating background noise. And it's supposed to be AI smart and all this, whatever. So we will see. I'm not 100% sure yet. So, alright. Well, anyway, good morning. We're fixing to take off, heading to another stop. I got probably about 20-30 minutes before I get there, so I'm just going to ramble for that long. So, what I was talking about earlier was how I got into playing Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain again this weekend. And kind of got obsessed, falling back into a really good gameplay loop. Story is crazy. I played and beat the game before, years ago when it first came out. I played and beat it. And even at the time, I was like, it was good, I had fun, the story was crazy, and it wasn't finished. And it wasn't finished. Kojima, that was at the time when Kojima had left, him and Konami had parted ways, and he'd left kind of toward the end of completing that game, and Konami put it out anyway. So, the story, which, like I said, is weird because it's a Kojima story anyway, kind of ends, and it doesn't really feel like it builds up, and then it like cuts to the ending, and then that's it. And then there's like a bunch of bonus stuff afterwards, like they just put all these like extra levels and extra missions and stuff in that they hadn't figured out how to really like weave them into the story, whatever. So there's more ideas and stuff that they clearly didn't get to, but they wanted to put the game out anyway, so they did. Anyway, back to it. The reason I say this is because I've been playing Black Myth Wukong, and I'm not having fun with it. I don't know if I'm trying to defend it or what in my own brain, or what it is. I don't really know. I wanted to enjoy the game. I did. It doesn't have a fun gameplay. Honestly, the combat feels a little bad. It's pretty, or it would be pretty if I had a monster enough system to even run it. It looks pixelated most of the time on my screen. And I'm not running something that's super old, and most of the time, most other games that I played recently have played just fine on my graphics card on my PC. This game does not want to play very well on it. For me, performance-wise, it plays fine. There's not a lot of game-breaking bugs. There's not a lot of crashes. That's fine. This whatever resolution thing that it goes through, I don't like. Like I said, anyway, it could be better, and it probably would look even better if I had a much bigger graphics card. But that, to me, puts it at a limitation because, I don't feel like a lot of people probably have the money to spend on probably at minimum $2,000 computer to make the game look as pretty as it does, with possibly a $500 monitor or 4K monitor or something. Because there's like ray tracing and shit in this game, which I can't even touch with my graphics card. So, anyway, back to it. Like I said, the gameplay loop is not super fun for me. It's boss battles, it's boss rush mode only. Like, there's literally nothing else. Like, even, and I talked to this, and I talked to a friend of mine about this on my podcast last week. set off the dopamine to make you want to keep playing. You unlock new stuff and you unlock new abilities and this and that, but it just doesn't feel rewarding in any kind of way. Nothing really does. Like, you can move, you can change, build around, and you can build around different things, but none of it feels good to me. And like I said, there's nothing in this game. Literally nothing. There's no platforming. There's a sense of terrain and there's a sense of a world, but they're all false. They mean nothing. They lead to another tchotchke thing you can pick up that will help you craft medicines or whatever. Like, there's nothing really, like, aside from main storyline stuff. Like, there's some hidden stuff. There's some hidden bosses. There's some hidden items you can unlock that make you a little bit stronger. So you want to search those out. So you falsely go down these paths, fight these enemies, and then the boss fights are fun. I will say that. You do fight the camera quite a bit, which is what I ended up doing. The camera, because they move around, and the camera, you have to be locked onto an enemy, and the camera will follow that enemy. The enemy jumps around all over the map, and the camera is purposely supposed to be moving slow so you can be out of your sight. I don't know. They give the bosses way more combos than they give you to use. Like I said, I'm just not super sold on the game. I'm not giving it a high score. I know a lot of people praise this game, and I enjoyed it, and it was fun. I don't even know if I'm going to beat it. I really don't. I kept saying I was going to, but I don't think I'm going to. Maybe I'll get to it. I don't know. But it's literally boss rush, because fighting your standard enemies suck. They all suck, because normally there's more than one, and there's no good way to fight multiple enemies in this game. There's not, because you literally focus on one guy, and you swing at this one guy. That's how the lock-on system works, because if you don't lock onto them, you won't hit them. You just swing off randomly in whatever direction. There's no good sense of this thing. And like I said, the combat, honestly, which is probably what everybody totes and praises on this game, is not good. It's not. It's good in a way where it's challenging or whatever, and it is a challenging game. But it's not good in a way that's just it's pretty and boring. Anyway, back to it. So I started playing Persona 5 Phantom Pain, and I played it and beat this game before. Then I realized, like, the gameplay loop on this game hits exactly right. And I have not played a game like this in years. I think the last game that I played like this, the gameplay loop hit me right, was Ghost of Tsushima, where I could... Ghost of Tsushima, honestly, like, still yet probably my favorite game of this generation. Well, I guess last generation. It came out on PS4, but like, of this era of games, like, that's come out since in 2000s and up, like, it's still my favorite game. I don't think Elden Ring was really good. I really enjoyed Elden Ring. As far as like new IPs and stuff that's come out this generation in the last several years, last 5 years. To me, Ghost of Tsushima is one, because the storytelling at that time, it made me invested. Like, it was really good, and the gameplay was fantastic. Like, the gameplay loop was fantastic. You do these things, you knock out, you try to, you feel like you're taking back your land or area or whatever, and you feel like you're actually accomplishing something. Like, even toward the end of the game, if you don't really have anything else to unlock and you're already like as powerful as you can be, like, it still feels good, it still feels rewarding to walk up to an encampment, call out people, cut down like 5 or 6 of them, and then continue on in and fight everybody else. And the fighting feels so good. You can fluidly move, because there's multiple enemies you fight. You move between enemies. People at range shoot you. You block their arrows and stuff like that. You can do all of these things, and it feels so fluid, which is why I guess I'm used to that. I just replayed that game a while back, and now playing Wukong sucks because there is none of that. And honestly, for a game that's supposedly about fighting and you play a monkey that does nothing, you don't climb. There's no platforming. There's no nothing. There's no puzzles in that game. Literally boss fights on it. There's no mantling. There's nothing. And like I had said, to me, it seemed like a very missed opportunity to add those things in. Because you play a literal monkey man, like a whatever the word, anthropomorphic monkey. He jumps and that's it. Like there's no climbing, there's no mantling. Like you could have been able to use the terrain a lot. There's areas where you come to that you can see across like a gap or whatever. Literally have a magical staff that can extend infinitely, technically. That's what that mythical weapon does. It would have been really cool to like pole vault across gaps and stuff with your staff, you know, or things like that. Like I don't know, like to me, like they missed a bunch of stuff in gameplay. They just made this boss rush mode and put it out, and it really got the hype. It really got blown up. Because it was supposedly based. It sold a lot of copies in China. Chinese people are loving it because it was made in China, and it was done well. Like I'm not gonna say like it wasn't done well. You know, I'm bouncing back and forth between games and things like it. So anyway, like I said, gameplay loop, some Black Myth Wukong, it's not fun for me. Whereas games like Tsushima was. Back into it. Metal Gear Solid is. It's very Pokemon in a way because as you try to make your base better, you have to search out other soldiers, you knock them out, and then you send them back to your base to recruit them. How they recruit them, we won't talk about. I mean, I don't know, like rewatching or whatever, but like that's what you do. That's the gameplay loop. You find better people than you have. The sun's gonna come out, so I don't know how long. So the sun is up. But anyways, but that's the gameplay. That's why it's fun. Yeah, that's what I enjoy about the game. It's you go out, you got to find a certain thing. You find like I said in my example earlier. So I needed a transportation specialist to be able to upgrade my Fultons so I could actually upgrade, so I could extract larger things like vehicles and just like large containers or whatever. So I have to like go back and look for this one particular person, this particular skill, to find him to unlock a thing. So there's like direct cause and effect to what you do. You find this person that gives you the ability to unlock this thing. And it goes like there's, like I said, it's a very rewarding sense because you know you need this thing, and that's what you go get. It's not false, so like I brought up before, the previous one, there's a lot of false accomplishment in games these days, especially these games as a service game. I talked about, I played the first Ascendant with a kick, and I enjoy the first Ascendant. It's fun, but gameplay is fun. The loop is not. It's not fun when you have to completely, you have to go through a mission. You have to go. You have to do it again. You have to do it again. You have to do it again. On the chance that it might drop a thing, maybe. Like, and it's a small percentage. It's not even like a 25% chance. It's like a tiny percentage. Even if it is a 25% chance, I mean, you can do it 4 times and get it. It's ridiculous. These games is chance, and then to get more things down the road, you have to find out a certain thing on the chance that that one thing might drop. And then once that one thing drops, well, now you have to go and grind out another mission to unlock that thing to give it a chance that it may drop the thing you want. And it's just a complete loop, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And people, oh, jeez, that's the game. I understand this. I understand it's free to play. I get it. That's how they make their money. They want to keep you in these games forever. But I don't want to play a game. I don't. probably, and maybe Destiny back in the day. Like, I haven't touched Destiny in a long time. Those 3 games, I probably had close to 400 hours in all of those games combined. Well, not combined, but like separately, 400 hours each of those games. And that pretty much caps out on like the most amount of time I'll spend on a game. And the reason why those games were fun and I played so many hours of them is because I had a group of buddies to play with. And that was it. Warframe, I have a friend of mine playing Warframe right now, has passed me in level. He literally, I think he may have passed me in hours. If not, he's getting close to passing me in hours. And I played for years. And he just started playing a few weeks ago. And he just plays it every day. That's the only thing he plays. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. And he's having fun. And that's also fun. I can't do that because it just doesn't feel good for me. I don't know, like, my brain doesn't reward me for these things. I mean, I don't play them to min-max and to do all the things that you're supposed to do in these games, which is why most of the time I get frustrated. Because I don't want to do the things that it tells me that I have to do to play the game. I just want to play the game. I don't want to get drunk. I don't want to go on these mythic blah 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 bullshit. I don't care about any of that stuff. I want to play the game with my friends and not have to worry about, you know, oh, if I find Shotsky, fine, whatever. Like, the gameplay loop for MMOs and stuff like that, the lifers that have to play this stuff all the time, and it's their second job, or hell, it's even their first job at this point. Like, I just don't get it. I never will get it. It's just not how my brain works. I never understood it. But, to that effect, I mean, to each their own, I guess. But back to my other point, ramble off topic. That's what I should probably call this. Rambling off topic. Anyway, so, like I was saying about Metal Gear Solid 5, the reason I am enjoying it, like I literally played it all weekend. Aside from when I dipped and played some party games and stuff with friends, I chatted with people while playing this game, not playing with anybody else, just see what they're doing. Because it's a fun gameplay. It really is fun. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't felt that about games in a long time, especially within the last 3 years or so. There's not really been a game that sucked me in like this one has. And this is a game that come out, I don't know, I didn't look at the date. I'm guessing like 2015, 2016. I don't remember exactly when. So, yeah, it's just not. Oh man, was Phantom Pain wasn't PS3. Well, no, it's 10 years. Okay, 10 years ago. So 2014. So it came out the first year that the PS4 came out. So I must have been. I don't think I bought it when it first came out. I think I picked it up. I think I went back here to look. So anyway, so yeah, so a 10-year-old game has got me more sucked in than anything that's come out in the last 4 or 5 years, minus like Ghost of Tsushima. And like I said, Monster Hunter World came out. The gameplay loop on that is very rewarding. Monster Hunter Wilds is coming out again next year. Again, but for the first time. So that would be another that's a rewarding gameplay loop. And that one to me is even. Alright, let me settle. I've got done 17 things going on at once in my brain right now. So gameplay loop, great. Of these modern live service games that you play, the gameplay loop is false. There's a false sense of a battle pass that you have to get through. Because they make you pay for it, and then that makes you want to play it because you've spent money on the thing. And like I said before, I don't mind spending money on a game. If I play for enough hours, I don't mind it. There's some people that are hardcore free to play and don't want to commit the time. Totally understandable, totally fine. If I'm going to play a game for 40 plus hours, I don't mind dropping $50 on this game. Anyway, also what upsets me, games like Call of Duty, they charge you $50, $60, $70 for these games. And then on top of that, have a $20, $10, $20, $30 game pass, and skins, and this and that, and want to keep you playing this game forever until the next one drops, where they can get another $100+ out of you. So they basically want to just pull $200 or $300 out of you every year for these games that don't really ever change. They're the same. Graphically, they're a little better. Some of the mechanics may change, but it's the basic same loop it's always been, and it's never gonna be anything. And honestly, it's probably gotten worse. It's not even a gameplay loop. It's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous. Whatever it is. So games like that, just the false stuff. I want to pay for a game and play the content that's on the game, which is why, like I said, Metal Gear Solid 5, it's a massive game that was never actually completed, but it's still a massive game and it's still fun, and I can still lose hours playing this game. However you want to play, sneaky, be loud, whatever. Like, gives you all these freedoms to do these things. So Monster Hunter was the same way. Monster Hunter World. I actually played a lot of hours of Monster Hunter, because I played almost 400 hours on my PlayStation, and then I switched over and got it on my PC, which I had to start over, and I probably got 150 hours in that. So Monster Hunter is fantastic in the way that, and let's hope Capcom keeps it this way. I can't say that the Wilds won't be, I don't know, Capcom's making some weird moves lately. We'll see what happens. I hope they keep it away from it, but we'll see. With Wilds, or with World, there was so much in the base game, and I never even really got to, I don't know if I ever, well, in the expansion, I never finished the expansion, but I made it to Master Rank and played through all the monsters in the base game. And they would release things like updated monsters and stuff like that, but it was never, you didn't have to buy a battle pass to play the updated monsters. Now when Iceborne came out, that was like a $30 expansion that added even more monsters to fight, even more armors and stuff to unlock, new difficulties, and then they also added like new final boss monsters, which is fantastic because you paid $30 for this thing after you'd already spent, you know, your original $60 or whatever. You spend another $60 or $70 or another $30, so you spend $100 in this game, and you play all of these hours, and the gameplay loop is still fun. It's still challenging, it's still fun, and it's fine. Like, that's it. That's what I want to do. I don't want to pay $10 here, $5 here, this or that to get to these, and then you hit these imaginary walls because the difficulty spikes, so you either need to grind even more or spend money to skip the grind. I don't want to do that. I know Monster Hunter has that as well. It does and it doesn't, because you could technically take a weak weapon and fight a big boss. If you're good enough, if you're skilled enough, you can get through it, even though you barely do any damage. But it's definitely possible to do that. Whereas other games, you literally can't. Like, you'll just die too fast or whatever. So, like I said, the gameplay loop is key to me. These days, nothing's come out that they're more worried about the story. They're more worried about their vision, their art, their this, their that. That's what they're thinking. Nobody cares. If your game's not fun to play, it doesn't matter what you use. And if what you put in the story upsets people, it makes them not give your game a chance, also, it doesn't matter. The customer is always right. That won't change. Even if you want it to, it won't. Well, the sun's up. And I think that's where I'm going to end this one. Hopefully, this new microphone picked up in recording this stuff this time. And it will sound better. Well, this is me. This is Mayonnaise Chase. The sun's up. I gotta get back to work.